Good morning, everyone. It's Jeanette Martin of MyBC Consulting, hijacking Andy Schillhorn's Facebook page. Good morning, Andy.
Hey, good morning. How are you this morning?
Well, I got to tell you, my heart is feeling really full this morning. And that's what I happened to watch you yesterday on the Fort Langley Remembers Facebook page and also on the Fort Langley Remembrance Day website. So my heart is very full today with what I witnessed of you yesterday and the people that came up on stage with you yesterday, Andy.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. I think it's been going since about 1999, and Fort Langley Remembrance Day is a very grassroots organization. It goes back to one lonely veteran standing in front of the cenotaph by himself and getting a hold of Brenda Alberts, and it grew from there. And every year I was there as part of the firemen from the very beginning, and then about 2015 I actually joined the committee, and now I chair the committee. Great group of people. Fort Langley Lions are a big part of that, and we really their support is greatly appreciated. They're our partners, and we had a great event. It was and for me, what's the very special thing is that my fireman's uniform still fit. A little tight, but still fit.
You look styling. It was a look that I don't normally get to see Andy in. You looked really quite dapper, I think we're supposed to say, to a gentleman in a uniform. And I so loved Chief Gabriel, her talk, her husband's talk, and what they said about inclusiveness and that the children, and that is so important that we continue to educate our children on what Remembrance Day is all about, because as I say, and as cliche as it sounds, they truly are our future.
Yeah, you know, yes, Chief Gabriel, the Potlatch Nation, they're special that they're there, and usually she speaks from down below the stage. I'm really happy that she came above. I was a little upset that we continued to have the planes tracking overhead, but it was what they said was extremely important to the service and to the spirituality of the service.
So this leads to a great segue. So what's the future of real estate right now, Andy?
Yeah, it's a continuing saga of very, very low inventory. Should I go into my slides?
Please, because you know what, as they say, numbers never lie, and when they get explained by you, it makes so much sense.
Can I share my screen?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Oh, right. You have to ask the hijacker for permission to use your own page.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. So these are MLS statistics as of October 31st, 2021, and you can see here the difference between active listings on the market for the Fraser Valley and the amount of solds. Very, very tight range here. This is last year's. You can see last year was a bigger range of availability, and then how it's been tightening up. So this is sort of telling you that, you know, that low inventory is going to help sustain the pricing, and or where the pricing is going to go, you know, demand will push it further. Here what we have is a price graph of inventory, all asset classes. And again, you can see that the foreign buyers tax, I've talked about that before, it pushed up inventory, and then after a couple of months it came back down. They came out with a stress test, it pushed up inventory, and buyers, we still have a huge demand. We don't have enough inventory. COVID for a couple of months there pushed up inventory, and then now we're way down here. We're still in a very, very low inventory area. Here's some Fraser Valley statistics on inventory. This is a balanced market. This is when buyers and sellers are on the same page. And look what we've got here, 1.6 months of detached home townhouses, 0.8 apartments, 1.4 months of inventory.
If I can just pause you there, because I'm going to pretend I'm somebody customer, okay?
Yep.
When I see in the Langley area, because I live in Langley, I'm in South Langley, you're in the Fort Langley area, I see the big developments in, I think it's up
Willoughby.
in the Murrayville area, and I'm seeing a lot of apartments come up in Langley. Is this still with that information, that coming aboard, it's still only 1.4?
Yes, yeah, because what we're looking at a very systemic attitude towards creating supply, very poor attitude in encouraging supply. This is not something that's happened in the last couple of years. This has been building since 1990. This has been building since the 80s. And that there was a professor out of Toronto, I heard on the radio the other day, and he looks at the housing supply across Canada, and he said, even if we had 100,000 new housing units on the market today, we would still be behind. We have been chronically crippling ourselves with not creating enough supply, and you know, Canada is a place where people want to come to. This is not foreign buyer speculation. This is people that move to Canada that want to live here, and Vancouver, Toronto are great places to live. We're Vancouver especially, and so Lower Mainland, we've got good weather, we've got law and order, we've got you know, all the things that people want, and this is where the demand is high, but the supply is low.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because when I see all these townhouses and also apartments, I think we're okay. You know, that's my perception as somebody living in the Langley area. So thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Langley has had a huge growth spurt in the last few years, but there are other communities that don't have anything. You can think about Vancouver, what you see there. You see miles and miles and miles of single family homes, and the population in Vancouver hasn't changed very much in the last 10 or 15 years. I think it's only gone up like 50 or 60,000 people. Here, you know, Langley's population has almost doubled in the last few years.
All right.
So this is our home pricing index from the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. And again, you can see that this is the foreign buyers tax. It kind of, you know, leveled off pricing for a while. Mortgage stress test kind of leveled off pricing, and continued to really sort of keep the market in check in terms of pricing. And then COVID, and here's what we've got, this huge takeoff here. And if you look at the numbers here, you know, we're maybe that's what 800,000, 900,000, and in 2016, and here we're at almost 1.4. So you know, that's a huge jump in the last few years. You know, I don't know, it's pretty incredible what the pricing's been doing. And you know, we wonder where affordability is and all those things, but there still seems to be a huge demand, and it will continue for the next several months. Getting into Langley, here's our we're pretty well the same with our inventory. Again, you know, apartments 1.3, townhouses 0.73, and detached homes at 1.6. That's how much supply, how many months of supply we have if no new homes coming up for sale. So if nobody put their condo on the market in 1.3 months, we would have nothing for sale.
Wow. It almost looks like this slide is if I had a townhouse to reach out to you and go, okay, Andy, is it time for me to put my inventory, my place, my townhouse on the market and move me up into a detached home? But then that tells me, wow, the inventory for that detached home that you want to find is also going to be hard to find. Is that what this slide is telling me?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of people right now are finding the home that they want first, and then putting their home up for sale. And there's a lot of, I mean, they're going all cash, they're going on subjects, and you know, I'll touch upon that afterwards. But there, it's crazy out there in that regards. And I have a lot of purchasers that are just saying, you know what, we'll wait, and hopefully that'll bring some of the demand down. Sellers, I know that I've seen a lot of listings come off the market because they put their listing on the market, they start looking around, and they realize there's nothing for sale right now. So what are they going to do? You know, and so they say, okay, we're just going to take our house off the market, and then lack of inventory. So that's our, that's the Langley balanced market here. Detached 1.6, houses 0.73, and condos 1.3. This is a pricing graph since last October, so it's a year out. And so, you know, a year, 1,090,000, 1,457,000 in 1 year.
Wow.
So that's you know, a huge increase of you know, 50%. The condos 397 to 486, and townhouses 576 to 733. So and you know, this line doesn't look like it's going to start going down yet. You know, usually we get this kind of rounding, so it gives you stability, but we don't see that. You know, here the townhouse and the condo market, yeah, relatively stable. And this is an interesting graph that I came across from the BC Real Estate Association, and it shows how inventory has been on our markets since 2000. And you can see here chronically we are under supply. We've had a little bit of supply in 2009. That's what the crash in 2008, and then it recovered. You know, well, then the market recovered and swept everything up. We had a little bit of supply here, but it matches nothing what's here from 2000, and we're all the way down to this point here now, and inventory is really low. So having said that, the BC government came out with the idea of trying to stabilize the market, and also to I'm going to stop the share here. Stabilize the market, and also to try and calm the marketplace down. So one of the things that they came up with is that when you buy a brand new condominium, there's a 7-day cooling off period. You can walk away from that purchase at any time and say, for any reason, you know what, I don't like that. And it goes right back to in the 60s when condominiums first started being marketed, and the idea of a strata was first created. There was a lot of high pressure sales, like a timeshare. And so the government came in and they created this 7-day cooling off period. So now the BC government of the day wants to create the same kind of cooling off period on all houses for resale homes, you know, so that's like private sales, like MLS sales. This is I don't know, this is really kind of a crazy thing, because we have right now, you know, a house will come on the market on a Tuesday, Wednesday, they'll do showings over the weekend, offers will be presented on a certain day, so that every buyer has a chance to go through the home, and every buyer has a chance to do their homework. They can do their home inspection, they can get their financing in place before they write the offer, which is a few days later. Now with a cooling off period, and the buyer is sitting there, and there's maybe 2 or 3 homes that are meeting their criteria, won't they just write 3 or 4 offers? I mean, who cares if they get 2? They just walk away from 1.
It almost seems like they're holding off the market, not cooling off the market. Like they're putting a freeze on lots of stuff. So that means I put an offer here, 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 and here. It just okay, I'm getting my head wrapped around this. So me as a buyer, I'm allowed to put an offer on this house, this house, this house, and this house. And you're saying I got an accepted offer on 2, like or more, and I could in 7 days go.
Yeah, you can walk away within that 7-day period. So you think that, you know, because, you know, people are writing non-subject offers, the seller thinks, well, my house is sold.
Right.
You know, certainty of a contract, firm and binding. No, buyer's got 7 days. So then in that case, you know, like a house gets right now with the demand and everything, you know, they have several offers. Well, if a buyer's writing on more than one house, then we're going to have that many more offers on presentation day. So, you know, it makes not a lot of sense in the idea of a cooling off period. I mean, at this point, well, maybe there's something that they're going to come out with that changes that. However, on the ground, from what realtors are seeing, this will not work at all. And I mean, there's a few other things that they wanted to sort of open up how the offers are presented, and they call it the blind bidding process. And one thing that I've always wanted to know is how many offers there are there. And so if there's a website or a place that people can register, or realtors can register that they have an offer, then, you know, I could log in and say, okay, this house has got 10 offers. And that way I know that that pricing is, you're gonna do
Mm.
something. And, but if another one over here says it's only got 2, then I'm gonna tell my buyer, hey, this one's not getting a lot of attention. Perhaps we should write on this one. I understand that, but they want to go a little bit further. They want to have pricing posted, and they're saying that would keep the market down. But like any auction, people get excited, and I think that buyers, if you have 4 or 5 buyers and they see pricing, they're going to start increasing the prices, and you're going to get a higher price yet again. There's not much to be said about that.
Yeah, so true. I've been, shall we say, a victim of a really good auction. When I was really enjoying myself in the heat of the moment and things like that. Oh,
Yeah.
fascinating. So important, Andy, to have somebody like you in your corner when you go to want to sell your house or buy a house, that you understand. Andy, you must be reading daily about keeping up on what goes on in the real estate market, not with just numbers, but policies, procedures as
Yes,
well.
I've been a realtor maybe 26, 27 years. However, every day is a learning day, and the day that I stop learning is the day that I hang up my license, because I think it's really important. And it keeps me up front, keeps me bright, keeps my mind turning. So yes, I'm always looking at technology, I'm always looking at the law, and I'm always looking at rules and procedures, so that it's really important for me to keep up to date.
Well, that is a great place to leave it, because you probably have to get on with your day to
Yes.
update yourself. Some more. Your newsletter's coming out, I know, sometime soon. So what is the highlight in our community that the people can look forward to in your newsletter?
Yeah, the Williams Park in Langley, we do a lighting festival. And so every year the firemen set up, and the township, they set up all the lights, and it's like Stanley Park, but it's in Williams Park in central Langley. This year though, you can only drive through, you can't walk through, but it will be amazing anyways. So I invite everybody to come out, and dates and location will be in the newsletter.
I look forward to your newsletter then. So enjoy the rest of your Friday, Andy. And once again, amazing Fort Langley Remembrance Day ceremony yesterday at the Cenotaph. Like I said, my heart is very full today, and so grateful for those that fought before us. So you can be a real estate agent, and I can have my own company and do our greatest work. So
and a big shout out to all the volunteers that helped do it, because and all the businesses that help get us there, including yours. It's very important that we all contribute, and this is one of the best committees that I'm on in terms of getting it done and creating teamwork.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you again next month for another edition of Andy Talks Real Estate.
We'll talk about Christmas. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Bye-bye, everybody.